So friends, welcome back to another thrilling video on our channel. Today, we dive deep into the latest and perhaps most ambitious addition to the legendary Jurassic World franchise, Jurassic World Rebirth. This film brings an entirely new narrative, bold characters, and, of course, jaw-dropping dinosaur action that promises to keep you on the edge of your seat. And don't worry, even if you haven't followed the earlier Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movies, you won't feel lost. While there are subtle references that longtime fans will appreciate, Rebirth stands confidently on its own, building a fresh world with its own rules and mysteries. The story unfolds in the year 2027, in a version of Earth where humans and dinosaurs are no longer separated by the barrier of extinction. Instead, they coexist, uneasily. This new reality didn't come about through cloning or a single rogue experiment like in earlier films. No, this story begins millions of years ago, back when dinosaurs ruled the Earth. As we know from history, a catastrophic asteroid impact wiped out most of the dinosaurs. But in the world of Jurassic World Rebirth, a fascinating twist changes everything. Some species didn't die off. They retreated underground, finding refuge deep beneath the Earth's surface, hidden from sight, untouched by time. For thousands of years, these ancient beasts slumbered in the shadows of the planet, adapting slowly to their dark, isolated environment. That is, until 1995, the year that changed everything. A massive volcanic eruption cracked open the Earth's crust, and through this colossal rupture, a hidden world was exposed. The dinosaurs had finally found a path back to the surface. At first, their emergence was subtle. Scattered sightings occurred in remote forests and oceans. People thought they were hoaxes or hallucinations. But as more and more creatures began to appear, some enormous, some terrifyingly intelligent, the world could no longer deny the truth. Dinosaurs had returned. However, their re-emergence came with a challenge. The modern Earth has changed drastically since the prehistoric age. The oxygen levels, vegetation, and climate were far from the environment they once thrived in. Many species struggled to adapt and started dying off again. But there was one region on Earth that remained almost untouched in terms of climate: the equatorial zones. With their dense humidity, thick vegetation, and warm atmosphere, they offered a close replica of the Jurassic era. Naturally, most of the surviving dinosaurs gravitated toward these areas. Over time, governments around the world began designating these regions, especially the equatorial islands, as high-risk restricted zones. No human settlements, no tourism, nothing. These areas were considered too dangerous for civilian activity. However, a few elite scientific corporations were granted special access under tight regulation. One such organization was InGen, a familiar name to Jurassic fans. Known for its controversial past in genetic engineering, InGen established a highly classified research facility on an island deep in the Atlantic Ocean. This island, shrouded in mist and secrecy, became the new ground zero for studying prehistoric life. But as always with InGen, their curiosity soon crossed ethical boundaries. Their scientists weren't content with observing nature. They wanted to control it, enhance it. The lab began conducting covert genetic experiments, splicing dinosaur DNA with genes from other animals to create powerful hybrids. These weren't just dinosaurs anymore, they were engineered weapons of nature. One such experiment involved modifying a Tyrannosaurus rex with regenerative traits and increased cognitive ability. It was supposed to be the crown jewel of the program. But, as you might expect, things went wrong. During a late-night experiment, a careless technician bypassed a security protocol, causing a system failure. The containment field malfunctioned, and in a matter of minutes, chaos erupted. The mutated T-Rex, now more intelligent and aggressive than ever, broke free from its chamber. Alarms blared, lights flickered, and within minutes, the creature began a rampage through the facility, destroying everything and everyone in its path. The lab was reduced to ruins, and dozens of scientists lost their lives in the carnage. Faced with the uncontrollable threat, InGen had no choice but to abandon the island, sealing off the project and burying its secrets. 17 years passed. Now, in 2027, the world faces an entirely different kind of crisis, a medical one. A dangerous new strain of heart disease has emerged, spreading rapidly across the globe. It's unlike anything humanity has dealt with before. Within a few years, it's projected that nearly 20% of the world's population could be affected. Desperate for a solution, scientists begin exploring unconventional possibilities, and one unexpected source offers a glimmer of hope: dinosaur biology. Research shows that dinosaurs, particularly the larger species, have incredibly strong and efficient cardiovascular systems. Their cellular regeneration, muscle endurance, and heart capacity far exceed any living animal. This discovery sparks interest in a bold idea. Could dinosaur DNA hold the key to curing this global heart epidemic? Enter Parker Genetics, a leading pharmaceutical giant with the resources and ambition to pursue this theory. Driven by both humanitarian goals and massive profit potential, they authorize a secret mission to return to the island, now abandoned, overgrown, and overrun by prehistoric creatures. The objective is clear: obtain blood samples from 3 key species: a land predator, a sea creature, and a flying reptile. Each holds a different piece of the genetic puzzle. To lead this mission, Parker Genetics selects Martin, a brilliant and strategic executive with hands-on field experience. Calm under pressure and known for delivering results, Martin understands the risks but accepts the task. Knowing he can't do it alone, he begins assembling a specialized team. His first recruit is Zora, a former military commando with a reputation for surviving impossible missions. She's offered a $10 million payday. While she's not easily tempted by money, the challenge and mystery of the mission intrigue her. She agrees, but only under the condition that she can help choose the rest of the team. Next on board is Dr. Henry, a world-renowned paleontologist who spent his life dreaming of seeing real dinosaurs in their natural habitat. For him, this mission is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, not for money, but for passion. Then comes Duncan, a rugged survival expert with unmatched skills in jungle navigation and tactical strategy. Alongside him is Bobby, a sharp-eyed marksman with sniper training and a cool head under fire. Zora trusts them both. They've served with her in the past and know how to handle high-risk situations. Duncan adds 2 more names to the roster. Lake Clark, a seasoned sailor and ocean navigator, is brought in to pilot the ship through unpredictable Atlantic routes. Her calm presence and sharp instincts make her an asset in uncharted waters. And finally, Nina, a mercenary for hire with a mysterious past. She's skilled in close combat and stealth operations, serving as the team's last line of defense in case diplomacy fails. With the team assembled and every detail planned, they load their high-tech gear, medical kits, drone scanners, and tranquilizer weapons onto a stealth research vessel. The ship, specially modified for both land and sea operations, sets course for the restricted island, a forgotten land teeming with danger, secrets, and monsters long thought lost to time. And this is just the beginning. As the ship sailed steadily through the vast Atlantic, the team was on high alert, eyes scanning the ocean for any sign of movement. The mission had already tested their courage, and every wave brought a new sense of dread. Suddenly, in the distance, they spotted a small boat drifting off course. On board was Robin, a middle-aged marine biologist traveling with his two daughters, the spirited Teresa and the thoughtful Isabella, along with Teresa's boyfriend, Xavier. The family had been exploring nearby waters when they were caught in something far beyond their understanding. The sea began to churn violently. The surface rippled, and shadows, massive, ancient shadows, moved beneath the waves like phantoms. Then, without warning, a group of mosasauruses erupted from the depths. Their sheer size dwarfed the small boat, which was quickly overturned. Screams echoed across the water as the boat capsized and chaos unfolded. Miraculously, the family managed to survive the attack and scrambled onto floating debris, sending out a distress signal. Duncan, always alert to anomalies, intercepted the SOS. Despite Martin's hesitation, fearing that rescuing civilians might jeopardize the mission, Duncan insisted. Against protocol, they pulled the family on board. As the newcomers recovered from their shock, the team noticed something alarming. More sea creatures were surfacing. A school of mosasauruses began circling the ship. The team quickly prepared their specialized gear, tranquilizer darts, blood extraction kits, and sedative delivery systems. Zora took the lead, positioning herself carefully. With a calm breath and steady hands, she fired. Her dart struck true, piercing the hide of a large mosasaurus. It thrashed briefly before succumbing to the tranquilizer. The team managed to extract the blood sample successfully, a crucial piece of their mission now secured. There was little time to celebrate. As the adrenaline wore off, the ocean betrayed them once again. A monstrous Spinosaurus, larger and more aggressive than anything they had faced before, emerged from the sea and launched a surprise attack on the vessel. The creature tore through metal as if it were paper. In the chaos, Bobby was caught in its path. His death was instant and brutal. As the ship rocked violently, Teresa was thrown overboard, plunging into the dark waters. Without hesitation, her father, Robin, dove in after her. Xavier and Isabella followed, and the family vanished beneath the waves. The rest of the team fought desperately to survive. Nina, one of their most reliable fighters, was severely injured during the attack and succumbed to her wounds shortly after. The ship, heavily damaged, drifted aimlessly until it ran aground on the island. It was a bitter arrival. The team had lost 2 members, and now they were stranded. But there was no time to mourn. Zora informed the survivors of a backup extraction plan. A helicopter would arrive at sunrise at a designated high point on the island, but it would only wait for a few minutes. If they missed that window, there would be no second chance. But fate had more twists in store. The group was forced to split up. Robin, along with his daughters and Xavier, was separated during the escape and took a different path through the jungle. Meanwhile, Martin, Zora, Dr. Henry, Duncan, and Lake Clark pressed forward with their original mission. They still needed 2 more samples, and time was running out. Venturing deep into the heart of the island, the team stumbled upon a herd of Titanosaurus, gentle giants of the dinosaur world, their sheer size making the ground tremble with each step. Despite their intimidating presence, these creatures were not aggressive. Zora and Dr. Henry, using bait and careful movements, managed to get close to one of the massive beasts. Henry inserted the extraction needle with practiced precision, collecting the blood without causing harm. With 2 samples in hand, they were now just 1 away from completing the mission. The final challenge, however, was the most dangerous: retrieving blood from a Quetzalcoatlus, a colossal airborne predator with a wingspan larger than most fighter jets. Dr. Henry proposed a bold but risky plan. Instead of trying to sedate an adult, they could extract embryonic blood from one of the creature's eggs. It would be just as effective and far less likely to provoke a lethal confrontation. The team scaled a cliff where the Quetzalcoatlus nested. The climb was treacherous, with loose rocks and gusting winds threatening their balance. Finally, they reached the nest. Carefully, Henry extracted blood from one of the large eggs, sealing the vial tightly. But just as they began to retreat, the sky darkened with a thunderous roar. The mother had returned. The enraged Quetzalcoatlus dove straight at them. Lake Clark, standing guard, tried to distract the creature but was struck mid-air and killed instantly. The rest of the team narrowly escaped, battered and grieving. Night fell as they sought shelter in the ruins of the old engine laboratory, the very place where this nightmare had once begun. The abandoned corridors were filled with echoes of the past, shattered test tubes, half-decayed equipment, and bloodstains from long-forgotten tragedies. But danger still lingered. Somewhere nearby, the mutated T-Rex, the original monster that caused Engine's collapse, still roamed the island. While tensions were high and emotions raw, an unexpected betrayal shattered what little trust remained. Martin, whose motives had been questionable all along, finally revealed his true colors. Drawing a concealed weapon, he demanded all 3 blood samples from Zora and Henry. His plan was clear: to sell the samples on the black market, making billions. But before he could act, the walls of the lab exploded inward. The monstrous T-Rex crashed through, drawn by the noise and heat. With terrifying speed, it clamped its jaws around Martin, ending his greed and his life in one crushing bite. In the chaos, the rescued helicopter arrived, only to be struck by debris and crash spectacularly, killing the pilot. Their only planned escape route was now destroyed. Trapped, exhausted, and out of options, the group scoured the lab's lower levels and discovered a rusted old cargo ship once used by Engine to transport specimens. With hope rekindled, they raced toward the docks. But the mutated T-Rex wasn't done. It pursued them relentlessly through the jungle. Knowing they wouldn't make it all together, Duncan made a brave decision. Lighting a flare, he lured the beast away from the ship and into the forest. Zora screamed for him to stop, but Duncan insisted. Someone had to stay behind. The rest of the group boarded the vessel and started the engines, their hearts heavy with grief. As the ship pulled away, silence settled. They believed Duncan was gone. Then, against all odds, another flare burst into the sky. From the edge of the forest, Duncan appeared, bruised, bleeding, but alive. Without hesitation, the ship turned around. Zora helped him climb aboard, and for the first time in what felt like an eternity, the group was whole again. As the ship drifted away from the cursed island, the survivors gathered to reflect on what they had endured. Dr. Henry gazed at the vials, each one holding the potential to save millions. But he wasn't smiling. The power they now carried was immense, and in the wrong hands, it could be devastating. Zora echoed his concern. They agreed that instead of handing over the samples to Parker Genix alone, they would distribute them across multiple research institutions around the world to ensure transparency, equality, and safety. The film closes on a note of quiet hope. Behind them, the island fades into the mist, a land reclaimed by nature and ruled once again by giants. Ahead, the future awaits, shaped by ancient blood and modern choices. Humanity had faced the monsters of its past, and now it held the cure for its future.